Welcome back. I'm excited to show you guys what that Conan 2D20 sheet can do. We're going to go over the NPC section today, so stick around. Okay, so here we are in the Roll20 engine, just as we talked about before. I got a coffee. Let's get into it. So the first thing we need to do to create an NPC is, of course, to create a new journal entry for that NPC. So we go to the Journal tab, which I already have open for you. See our GM panel that we created in the last video. I'm going to go Add. I'm going to go Character. Let's call him Skeleton. I am a fan of skeletons, so we're going to call him that. I often denote them with a -M or a bracket M if I'm making a minion, which we will do in this case. Hit our Save Changes. All right, so that brings us to the skeleton screen. And of course, the next thing we need to do, we need to initialize the character. To the character sheet, go to the GM panel on the character sheet, hit that initialize button. I've done a little bit of work on the backside of this, so in theory, if you forget to do this, most of the API has try catch loops now, so if it tries and finds an error, it's going to run this init anyways. But just to be on the safe side, click that initialize button. It'll get your PC ready to go, or your NPC in this case. Let's close that. So number 3, enter the stats. So let's open that skeleton up again. I don't have the stats in front of me, so we're just gonna, make some up. Call it 8, 8. That's a 1. 8. That's a 2. I'm not sure what's going on there. Apparently, I can't type. Try turning the numeric keypad on. There we go. Tab 8. Personality is 8. Willpower, column 8 across the board. Give him a combat expertise of 2. I don't actually know what it is, but whatever. Scroll down, give him a soak of 1, say. The shield soak is here, which you can roll from here. I'm going to give him 0. Vigor and resolve both have minimums, current and maximums. The maximum isn't used for anything. If you don't put it in, it doesn't matter. 5. 5. Give him a weapon. Give him a sword. Give him a pitted sword. I think that's what they actually have. Melee weapon, reach 2, 6 combat dice. Varying. Doesn't have any loads, so we can get rid of that. Come back up to here. If you have any doom spends, you can add them in here. Be like, I don't know, shake the bones. And then description, cost. And then special abilities, something like, say, fear 1, discipline, or suffer mental attack. Okay, so that pretty much sets up the skeleton as a monster. The only thing else you need to do, he's a minion. Click on the minion button. If you don't click on that, it's not going to roll any dice. Now it's going to roll 1d20 by default because it's a minion. That's great. Stats are entered. Create a token. Lots of different ways to create tokens. Easiest way is to go find a picture of a skeleton you like, go get a token tool or a token stamp or something like that, and then make a token, upload it to Roll20. I'm not going to go over how to do that. This is not a Roll20 tutorial. So let's go to my media library here and see what I got. Type in skeleton. Like I said, I like skeletons. I got quite a few in here. Grab this one. This one is from the Conan the Adventurer cartoon. Let's set this guy up. So that's created the token. Next step is to set up the token. So the first thing we want to do, click on the gears. We want to represent the skeleton. You can turn the nameplate on or off if you want to. That's the only thing we need to do to associate to the character sheet. Everything else we're going to add in manually. So vigor is red, so we're going to make that 15. And we're going to make that 5 for the bar. You can make that maximum if you want. Do not set it up to associate to the character sheet. If you set it up to associate with the character sheet, anytime you modify the current hit points, it'll modify the current hit points on the character sheet, which means every skeleton you've populated will drop in hit points. We do not want that. let's go save settings. See that pops up 5 and 5. Associating the token to the character sheet lets us hold down shift and double click to bring up that character sheet. Make sure that we have 15 and 5. We also know he has a soak of 1. So one of the things I like to do is just put in a 1 in here, just to remind me that he has a soak of 1. If they have shields, I'll often go 1.2, just so I remember that they have a soak of 1 and a shield of 2. Otherwise, I forget. So once that's all good, we're going to associate the token to the NPC, which is the last step in creating these guys. So let's open that up. This is, in my opinion, the least intuitive part of Roll20. Let's go to Edit. Select that token. Use selected token. We're good to go. Thumb up. Save changes. Delete him. Go back to our library. So now we have a skeleton. We drag and drop him on the map. We get our token. If for some reason you have done something incorrectly, like you put in the wrong vigor, if you go, oh, I wanted a vigor of 14, so I'm going to make it 14 instead, and I want that to be the default now, this does not update anything on the current token. Okay, so although we associated this token to the sheet, the token that we actually associated to that sheet has been deleted. So basically it makes a copy of that token and saves it on the sheet. So now we got 14 as our new token. In order to make that stick, we come another one up, see he's 15. In order to make that stick, these new changes, you got to open up that skeleton again, go edit, remove the old token, and associate that new token back to it. And then that will update any changes you've made since then. And now anytime you want to drop a bunch of skeletons on the map so your players can fight them, they're ready to go. Now if these guys are in a mob, we can look at how we roll with these things. Go back to the chat window here. See that it initialized the skeleton like it was supposed to. This guy wants to roll an attack by himself, say. Put him over here. He's by himself. Just double click, shift double click. That'll open up the character sheets. We have our skeleton. We know that skeletons, and if you don't know the skeletons, are combat for NPCs. It's agility for melee combat. So you click agility. That populates it over an attribute. Pick your expertise. For NPCs, that is combat. That gives us our agility plus combat. We're rolling 1d20 plus zeros. We don't have any momentum. We can hit get doom. No doom in the pool, so you can't use it. So that's pretty much all that guy's got. So let's hit roll and see what we get. All right, skeleton. Rolled 1d20. These are pretty faded out because it's a miss. If you hit them, you get a green one. If you get like a critical hit, you get a bright green one, but that's not shown here. We rolled 1d20 versus D difficulty 1. 15, dice 0, fortune 0, total 0, momentum 0, complication 0. So that just tells you everything you've rolled and everything, all the results. So that's good for troubleshooting sometimes. If we had momentum, we can just add some in just for entertainment value here. Now I can use that to add, so if you get doom, it'll show up in there. And then just use the momentum button to add dice. 3 extra dice is maximum. Hit that roll button again. This time we have success. So here we can see a 2 underlined is a critical success, giving us 2. And then 2 more is giving us 4 total successes, which tells us dice 4 successes, total 4 successes, momentum 3, which is the 4 successes minus the 1 difficulty. And that's pretty much how the skill rolls work for the skeletons. If you have a bunch of them in a mob, let's close him off for a second. Say you have these 3 guys and they're in a mob. You open them up, and this will have to be modified for different mobs as you roll. But so we have 1 minion. He's an additional 2 minions helping him. So if we roll the die now, I closed it. Don't close it. That won't be what you want to do. Put it up again here, and we roll. So we're going to roll the combat die of 1, or versus difficulty 1. We're going to roll 3d20 this time, which is going to be him plus his 2 assistants guys. So again, if we add momentum onto here, we can add 3. If we roll again, now we're going to roll 6 dice. Is that right? Yeah, so we're going to roll 60-20, which is the 3 bonus dice plus the 3 NPCs helping him. So that's pretty much all you need to know. The only tricky thing with NPCs, as I said, if you modify the character sheet, it modifies all of them. So if you track wounds on here, got a bigger on there, we roll again. We're going to see it rolls versus difficulty 2 now because he's wounded. But if you don't turn that off and the next skeleton attacks that isn't wounded, it's still going to apply it. So it's only sort of good, but you can also set them up here manually if you want to. So you can go difficulty 2 versus difficulty 2, difficulty 4. So if you can remember to do it, that's not a bad way to go. If you can't remember to do it, try and remember to turn those on and off. And otherwise, you might have to do some manual calculations after you roll. That's pretty much how the NPCs work. NPCs work pretty similarly, but I will do a video on setting one of them up too, just so you guys can see. And if there's any questions, feel free to drop them below. If you have any comments, don't forget to drop those below. Yeah, that's pretty much it, I guess. I mean, you can click Doom Spends. If you go use, it's going to tell us what it is. The cost is 3. If you get spend momentum, it'll try and spend it based on what you have in your sheet. So I got 4. You go spend, you drop that down to 1. Shake the bones. And once everyone's done, once he's done with his moves, you go save Doom, and that'll clear it out of there. Drop it into the Doom pile, and tell your players how much wonderful Doom they have to deal with. So I think that's actually everything I have to show you. I'm going to close him down. Like I said, any questions, drop them below. Any comments, drop them below. If you're giving this a shot, let me know. Don't forget to run over to the actual character sheet there, and or character sheet to the blog, and download the latest versions, which I uploaded, I think, on the 9th. So if you haven't grabbed them since then, get back and grab them. Get them updated, because I've added some stuff to hopefully fix some of those bugs, or at least make sure they don't crash the API. But again, I would still make sure you have one on the other in another window, just in case. And yeah, so don't forget to hit the like button if you like the content. Subscribe if you want more cool content from Starships and Steel. And other than that, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I think that's it. The blog. You guys have a great day, and don't forget to keep it weird.